The Focus ST is already an impressive hot hatch even at stock power, and if you've already added an assortment of aftermarket power adders, your intercooler could probably use an upgrade. Wagner Tuning's intercooler kit features a 24% larger frontal area and 60% more volume than stock for vastly increased airflow and cooling efficiency. Wagner has increased the intercooler's core size and efficiency, as well as improved the end tank design to remove any OEM bottlenecks, resulting in increased flow rating and charge cooling capacity. To give ourselves more room, we removed the front wheels. After that, we popped the hood and removed the headlights. The connector was on snug, so we used a flathead screwdriver to help slide it off. Now for the hood latch, pull it outward and clamp the cable to create slack in the line. Grab the end with pliers and twist it out of the latch. Then pop it from the retainer clip. Take the push pins out of the radiator cover next, as well as the screws on the edge of the cover. Work your way down to the wheel well and remove the screws in the body panel and wheel well in addition to one push pin on each side. Through the hood we can see the bracket that holds the bumper to the fender. They have two screws to remove in order to separate them. Underneath the car you must remove all of the dust shields. Some of ours was removed already, but all it takes is a few screws and push pins to remove the entire thing. Up top on the bumper, the last item before removing the bumper from the car is to push the bumper from the clip on each side where the headlight sits. Careful not to remove the bumper too far yet. There is one connector to remove now that the bumper is halfway off, then it can be pulled away from the car. Now with access to the stock intercooler, remove the screws on the plastic bumper support piece, as well as unclipping the air deflectors. On the sides of the intercooler, remove the band clamp on the hot and cold side piping, then pry the tubes off the intercooler. If they are somewhat stuck on, a pick will aid in breaking these loose. On the top of the intercooler is the boost sensor, which can be unplugged. The intercooler bracket has two bolts on each side to remove, then the intercooler will hang down from the car. Now there is enough room to pull the grille shutters from the clips and slide it out. Disconnect the motor connector as well to remove it. Now the last two bolts underneath the intercooler can be removed so you can pull the factory intercooler. Here you can check out the difference in capacity between the two intercoolers. We will then transfer the boost sensor to the new intercooler. We did find out that the screw hole needed to be enlarged ever so slightly to tighten down to the new intercooler. You may not have to do this step on your install, but be aware that it is a possibility. The sensor will then install reverse of the stock intercooler position. Now the Wagner intercooler will get its spacers and brackets installed on the top of the unit. The brackets will spin slightly, but that is just fine. Prop up the new intercooler and tighten the brackets to the bumper support. Then lift up the rest of the car's cooling assembly and bolt back in the stock brackets loosely for now to hold things in place. The boost sensor connector needs to be extended slightly to reach its new reverse position, so unclip it from the line behind the intercooler, then follow it back to the clip on the engine and cut off the clip. It should now have just enough slack to plug in. Bolt up the lower bolts to the intercooler to set it in place. Then fully tighten down the 2 bolts on each side bracket. As you can see here, the factory air deflector and grille shutters cannot be reused due to the bigger size of the Wagner intercooler, so leave them out. You will have to remove the motor though and plug it in to avoid a check engine light, so take off the plastic trim on each side of the shutters to remove the motor, then plug it back in and zip tie it out of the way. The intercooler tubes can now be reconnected to the new intercooler and the band clamps tightened down. Reattach the black plastic bumper piece to the support as well as the upper air deflector. If your bumper to fender brackets were fully removed, reattach them now to be able to reinstall the bumper on the car. To reinstall the bumper, first clip it into the car at the headlights. Then fully tighten down the bumper brackets and push in the bumper to clip it back in place. You should be able to reach and plug back in the one bumper connection as well at this point. Finishing things up, you can reattach the hood latch cable to the latch and bolt down the radiator cover with the screws and push pins. In the wheel wells, replace the screws and push pins, then move to underneath the car and replace the dust covers with their screws. Finally, we have the headlights to replace and the install will be completed. Click the link at the end of the video to check out the intercooler on our site, and head to stage3motorsports.com for all of your Focus ST performance needs.